that bend has to be in the right place. But you monkey with that, you buy you a box of washers. You don't buy just one of them and then go home and start bending. So you may have to try 3 times, but you'll get that thing right.
The height is what you're trying to get correct.
There's
Get
a
as straight as pull as you can get.
There's an optimum height, and this may not even be straight. It may be down here. But the fact that you're pulling on it in such a way, somehow or another, that hook pulls downward while this is pulling upward, and it closes that crack.
It's pulling at a diagonal problem.
It's pulling at a diagonal.
Same way you square up a door.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I mean, I'm just going to tell you the truth about it. I don't understand the different ways that these pressure points, I guess you'd call it, are working. I was trying something at the time. I was just trying. And when I saw that, I didn't know. I don't know anybody else that does this. I don't know if anybody else never seen this. This is something I'm going to use from now on, so I'll keep those fender washers. Then I will pour the first half full of glue, and I'll do my little fender washer thing, and I mean, everything's great. And from then on, all I got to do is take that back out, pivot it where I want to, and work on the back part.
But you can't do that when you're using pins and not glue. Am I correct? Like if you're not using foam, you're using metal material.
Yes and no. You have to accommodate them. It has to be engineered to work. So you may not I don't really know quite how to answer that, but all I can tell you is that once you start doing some of these the way I'm talking about, and try to make a takedown or try to make a hidden tang with a butt cap, and you get past that problem, you'll encounter another little problem and you solve that one. And sooner or later you build up enough confidence that you know what you can get away with. I figured out after a while, I couldn't have just started and made this. I could have never done it.
So what is the point of the takedown, other than, say, educational purposes?
Well, that certainly is not the point.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying, that's what, I think it's a pretty good point today.
I mean, I'm glad to be able to do it, but if it took just gluing the sucker up to have a knife, I'd glue it up. I mean, sorry, but that's just, but what, I wanted it to be takedown so that I could, I want this knife to use. I want to use it myself, but I know I'm going to get it scratched up, or I'm going to get tar on it, or sap, tree sap on it. And if I want to clean it up and sell it in a year, all I got to do is take it apart and refinish it, put it back together and sell it. And the takedown feature is just an added attraction.
Really more fit and finish than anything.
There's an awful lot to the fit and finish on takedown. There's no room for slack. But this right here, the fact that this doesn't have a pivot on it, and the fact that it's held firmly here and here, and tension on it, that's the only thing making it possible to do that.
You talking about us, made me think of something. Cold steel makes a knife called matches blue. And I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with it, it's expensive manufacturing.
Cold steel?
And through the whole handle's the tank of it is a cable. And it just made me think maybe that's the reason why we use the cable. Check if everything's square up. I think it'd be a weaker handle, we need the solid cable, but maybe the cable, small piece of cable in between the thing and the grid, that serve that purpose too.
Yeah, I don't know. It don't make any difference if it's a cable, really. they've engineered it to where it's gonna stay put, you know, be rigid. It's got some kind of integrity.
It's a lot, the cable goes like almost from the back of the handguard all the way to the bottom. It's like pretty much, that's tiny, it's cable. I was like, it is, but now I think that's probably the reason why they do it, is if everything's squared up.
I'm sure that helps. They don't have to get as close. You remember, they're in a production situation. They're producing a lot of them. And so it has to, they're gonna rely a lot on, let me ask you this, I don't know, I mean, I know cold steel won't bring it, but that particular line with cable in it, is it a straight hand line?
It looks a lot like these styles. It's it's inexpensive not to be factory made now.
Clint, on this knife there, you said you were gonna put a butt cap on it and a finial.
I ain't sure it's gonna be a finial per se or just a screw.
Because the back of that knife is round, it's not flat. You're gonna make a cap to match that round?
My first inclination is this, you see that little countersink?
Yeah,
Is to take a round stock and drill a hole in it, slice it off the bar, turn it up, and it goes in that countersink.
yeah.
And then dome it, shape it, whatever.
Alright, so it's not gonna go the whole end. I was thinking, man, how would you get that to match up? So,
Well, I've thought about that very thing though. What I could do is make me a, what do you call it, a monkey tool or something. And then take a piece of stainless, heat the stainless, pow, shape the inside
Okay,
of it,
yeah.
shape that. And then
Yeah.
locate the hole, get my hole working, and then shape it and have a little margin and then dome it. Do the
that'd sure
outside.
be impressive when it's all put together. You
I
know how you did things.
And it would also add a little bit of weight to the back end of it, which is something I think I need because of the length of the blade, the weight of the blade.
Let me ask you one more question. On that guard, you said it's made out of 416 stain, or 316 stainless steel?
4/16.
416 stainless steel. After you forged that, did you just buff it out, or did you passivate it in nitric acid to get rid of all the...
No, I didn't passivate it or nothing. In fact, I'm not even finished with it. You can still see a bunch of scratches.
Okay.
I decided to wait until I really get the butt cap ready and then put it all together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it once over, especially the guard. The guard, is gonna get scratched from laying around.
Right.
Handling stuff. That's all machine finished. I have not done any hand finishing on that guard. That's all machine finished.
All right.
So if you see, like you think it's hand finished, it's not quite where I want it to be.
Are all your guards forged, or they, you ever forecast it, or?
I haven't done any casting other than the computer, and I don't really count that, because it's so soft. I wouldn't do a guard, computer, you can probably buy a chunk out of it, you know. It's so soft, it's too soft. I'm having second thoughts on that anyway. It's just something to make it historic.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of, on tomahawks and stuff like that, on handles and inlays.
It's good for inlays, but right where there's gonna be some contact points, some wear points, outside corners and stuff, and it's gonna show quick.
It's set straight,
See there?
but it's still got cable in there.
But see, but that's, I could've guessed that if there's gonna be a direct line of tension on it, it's got a straight handle on it. So that's why they're able to do that. So they can take one part off one eye and put it on the other, and it's still gonna suck it down there, and it's gonna seek a level. So they're letting all those joints be square, which is good. That's good of them. That's good thinking. They're letting all those joints square itself up into one straight unit. like them, I just don't, it just don't suit me, so I don't use them. And that has no bearing on what anybody else does. For one thing, I don't like to glue pens. I don't rely on glue much, totally. This is glued up, right? But remember, all this is mechanically fashioned in the back. So I've got not only glue, but I've got mechanical bond too. So, it's a better taste, to some degree. The Mosaic pens, I just don't care for them. I don't know why. But again, I don't even like Mosaic Damascus. As pretty as some of that is, I don't care for it. I like Damascus that looks like it was done I mean, it's not gaudy, it's more, I don't know how to describe it. There's just something comes over it. Yeah.
That's just more like something you picked up out of a scrap iron pile and put together. That's what it looks like today. Tomorrow it might not look like that, but it still works as a knife instead of your initials in it.
I want it to look intentional.
These pins just hammered? These pins hammered?
Yeah.
How you get them done like it and they still stick both and somewhat be symmetrical?
Well, they're not symmetrical. I mean, yeah, they look pretty good. But if you measure them, they're not the same. I just got close. And I count on that, you know.
That's just the ball peen.
You have like a round headed to those ribbon set, you just,
No,
this is.
I hammer.
Yeah.
And then I buff them. I buff them. I'll show you they are proud. They are sticking up. They are hammered, and I am careful. Yes. All that's true, yes. And they're not glued, and they are tight. They're not loose, but they do apply pressure. All that's true, yes. But to get that shine, let me see if I've got a picture. I should. I should have a picture somewhere. Get the right. Oh, here it is. I finished the handle before I put the pin in. That's just 180 grit. I went to 180, 120 on my belt out on my machine. And then I went to 180 on by hand, all this. And then I taped the whole thing up with blue tape. As close to one layer as I could get. Some places I had to lap the tape, that blue painter's tape. And I mean, I held it and pinched on it, grabbed it and pressed on it, and I got it stuck and to where you can see the outline of the pins underneath it. And then I went around with my fingernail, and still got a notch in this fingernail right toward the end of it. And I take the fingernail, and I go around those pins, and I just cut underneath it, because it leaves that sharp edge on the pin head. And I'm cutting that little plug, and I just flip it off of there, get rid of it, stick it to the couch. No, I don't. I get rid of it. And that exposes the pins. And then I just go buff those heads.
When you put the dome on the pin, what all you use? I know with the hammer, it's hard for me to get the edge down. I do everything but work mix the wood, it's hard to get that last edge down to the wood.
I will get as close as I can on that edge, and I am leaving little marks on that with micarta.
Yeah.
But this is micarta, and if that was say walnut, man, I'd be real careful. So from the very beginning of the whole process, I'm thinking I got to dome these pins, so that affects my decision on what material this is going to be. Micarta is something I'm going to use. I can get away with it because this is a tougher to boot.
It doesn't dent as easily as black walnut or other
The
things.
crack really.
Exactly. So that might have affected my whole choice on pins. So I knew it up front, so I could do that. I want to see that. You can see where I just took on the individual, each pin, you see that little, the buffing compound. I went all different directions on each pin to buff it. With a compound, I use white, but it don't matter, you know, just buff it. You can, I guess some of the compound, you buff it right,
Like with cop seal?
you can get away from it, yeah. Muslin or cotton or something. It's pretty stiff, wheels stitched. You put a little pressure on it, and you just kind of go around and do each one methodically so that you don't forget. And then you get it all in tape, and you got a sharp edge. But back to your question. I hammer it around in circular motion. I get as close as I can get it down there. And then I hammer in the middle a few times, in which
So you save some metal.
the middle is last. But you gotta be careful, because some of this material used for pins, if it's not pretty soft already, you're gonna split the corner, the
Yeah,
edges.
you gotta nail that guy.
Nail it, do all you can, start with, set yourself up for success, you know.
Now, how much, when you start, you got your pin sticking up, how much is sticking up above the material? Say an 8-inch pin is a diameter.
I go somewhere between half of the diameter and the diameter, so about 3/32. And since you see the shape of this, there's not an exact science on this because this is rounded. This is not flat. If this was a flat, say coffin handle or some kind of two boards and they were flat, it'd be much easier to figure
It
that.
actually make your pins look good and almost flat.
I oversized my hole by 1 number drill size. My holes are, it's 1/8 pin. I drilled them 8 to start with. And then I got my number drill set out and jumped the hole up. I hate fighting, getting the pins in and
Yeah,
out.
30 is the next side.
I don't remember what it was. I just start checking them with the caliper, find one that's just a fraction over, and then I rim them out just a little bit. So then I know that when the heads are snug, it's the heads holding the thing together. It's not just the pin or glue. There's no glue in it. And then it's just a matter of holding that rascal. I take an old 3 or 4 pound hammer. It's like a rounding hammer, and I polish the face, and I put it in my vise, and it's sticking up. And the handle, it's got a handle. It's not just a head. It's got a handle, and I can rest my arm on that, and I can hold. Got my little gooseneck lamp right here with my cheaters on, and I can. And the handle is completely off the knife, in this case. And I can contact that other side of the pin, and I can just work it. You know, just like that. Flip it over, work a little bit on this side, and just keep back and forth, because if you don't do that, you're going to get uneven. Way, yeah. You'll end up with heads that are different sizes. Too much different size, unacceptable. So you see every one of these shapes coming back is different. You got a little different slope. This is the inside, and this is the outside, but it's still curved.
So it takes a while to do all those things. You got time just done with heads.
Yeah, it's more, the intimidation comes from just actually getting started. Once you get started, it don't take long. You just gotta make up your mind, I gotta do this. And not be afraid.
Well, there are tricks on the bolster, like getting the hole started and wearing out and measuring, or you just,
Like bolsters,
yeah.
I rarely do bolsters, but the only thing I can tell you is, use a guide of some sort, a clamp guide, to get them both in the right location. You know what I'm saying? And, so from top and bottom, they look they're even, and then clean off your degrease it, you're gonna see the pins. They may be the same material, all nickel, silver, all stainless steel, all whatever. If you degrease it, it'll just disappear. That's how they do that. That's how they make them disappear. They take their time in cleaning, degrease all that, degrease the parts, and use rubber gloves. I don't do very many bolsters.
Do you ever do inlays in your handles or
Wire,
joints?
silver wire?
Different, different handle materials joined together or?
Every once in a while, but not many. The main thing on doing stuff like that is don't rely totally on glue. Use good glue always, but don't rely totally on glue. If you can, locate your outside, say your dovetail. I don't know if you follow what I'm saying. Wherever a pin is, let that piece be what holds the other pieces. You know what I mean?
Like your top piece, then it holds the bottom piece.
Correct. It's just simple,
Allow
common
pressure.
sense. And logic.
Is there an average handle length on a large knife like that? I know if a customer comes and said, I want you to build this, of course, he can say, I want the handle this size to fit my hand. But if you're building a knife for yourself or for somebody to sell, is there an average, I mean, with the blade that long, is there an average go-to handle size?
Yeah, I want, the very last part to be, and I measured from up here. But if this was really, really thick for some strange reason, then I would just increase the length. But 5 to 5 1/4 is what it should be from here to the very back. And that gives you, a little bit of KKA is a good. They're all based on like 4-to-1 ratio mixture. Defcon's not, it's 1-to-1.
Did you buy your own micarta sheets or do you make it?
I ain't, that's tough. Man,
I was thinking
I'd
whether
be
you cut
stuck to
strips,
it
you
when
know.
I got done, I'd be like a fly on.
Yeah, they glue each piece, put it down, stack it up, and cut it.
I can't do, I mean, I'm not set up to do that. And besides, if you'll notice, this pattern, I wouldn't say it's exactly mirror image. It's not. I can see it, but it's close. That's from their controlled manufacturer of stuff.
That's from their controlled 250,000-ton press that they're pressing it with.
And I'm using their skills to make my finished product look just a little bit more professional. I don't think I can I can't duplicate that. And besides, I'd have to do all kinds of research on glues and adhesives and pressure.
Right.
I'll pay $35 for the, 6-inch wide, 12-inch long, piece. And then I'll just divide up my cost per mile and deal with it.
Cutting it, or micarta, does it dust a lot? I mean, is it?
Yeah, it's pretty dusty, but it's not too bad. I've not had any reaction from it. And believe me, some things I get reactions.
Do you have a separate grinding area, or you grind in your main shop?